Oh, we're supposed to do the
Tonight on the WDW Fan Zone show, it is me, Stuart Sternberg, along with Kurt. Everybody else has abandoned us tonight. No,
Yay!
no, Lottie's working late. John is on a vacation that I am sure he will want to discuss when he comes back. And Darlene is off at the parks with someone. I don't know if she knows her or not, but someone else she's meeting up with. So it's just the two of us tonight. And
Yep.
we're going to discuss the extinct attractions and would they work today if Disney World, it's the extinct attraction at Disney World, if they decided to bring them back. But before we get into the show, there are a couple things I want to mention here. Just get rid of a little housekeeping. If you're watching us on YouTube TV or on Apple Podcasts, iHeartRadio, or wherever you listen to us, please, or watch or listen to us, please like and subscribe to the show. It helps us out tremendously. It gives us more visibility so more people can find us and get to know and hate us just as much as you guys do. Yeah, Kurt, you were going to say something?
No, just the disclaimer. Just block my camera when you guys are watching it.
The other thing I wanted to mention is Mouse Fan Travel. Mouse Fan Travel is our preferred travel planner. I don't know who you use out there if you're not using Mouse Fan Travel. I don't know if you're satisfied or not, but I can tell you firsthand, I went through a bunch of different travel planners through the years, and the only one that did their job right the first time, where I didn't have to figure things out for myself and say, hey, wait a minute, I got a problem here, was Mouse Fan Travel. Mouse Fan Travel is as close to perfect as you're going to get when it comes to planning a trip to Walt Disney World or Disneyland, taking an adventure by Disney, which they're on right now. That's Lou Mangello's WDW radio group. That's where John is and his wife Kelly, along with Becky Mankin, the founder and CEO of Mouse Fan Travel. I'm telling you that nobody does it better than Mouse Fan Travel. They are absolutely the best when it comes to planning vacations because they listen to you. They do what you want and how you want it, and they help answer your questions the right way. They give you the information for you to work with and to help them out to make the perfect vacation for you. And you can find out more information about Mouse Fan Travel and all the wonderful deals they've got going on right now by going to www.mousefantravel.com. That is www.mousefantravel.com. So, Kurt, how have you been?
Another day, another dollar.
Yeah. Well, for me, it's just another day.
Just another day.
Yeah. I figured, why don't we start off in Magic Kingdom? I've got a list here. I don't know if anybody can see this.
I literally am looking at all the Wikipedia of all the former Walt Disney World.
Yeah, I don't know mine is a complete list, but if I'm missing something, you'll pick up on. If I have something wrong on here, you'll let me know too. So the first one I'm going to mention still exists, but just not at Disney World, and that is Mr. Toad's Wild Ride.
I missed that. I really
missed that too.
It's better at Disneyland though because you get the entire attraction.
See, and that's the only place where I've ridden it.
Okay, so now cut it right in half in the middle, and that's what happened with the Disney World version. They needed to get more people in and out of there, so they split it in half. And there's one, left side or right side. Which one are you going on? Either the first half or the second half. Both were good. I think you end up in hell for both of them, but. I love that attraction. I miss that attraction. It was whimsical.
Yeah. That's an attraction I do believe would work today if they brought it back to Disney World. I think because of the history of the attraction itself, it would automatically gain a huge following among Disney fans and would give people who have not had the chance to experience, whether it's at Disneyland or previously at Disney World, something to try and maybe appreciate.
Yeah.
So I think that's one that would work. The next one is pretty much the same thing. We lost it here, but it's still on the left coast, and that's Snow White's Scary Adventures.
That's different on the West Coast than it was here.
Yeah.
It's a classic. It still would work. There's your Fantasyland attraction that it went away for a princess meet and greet, and instead we got the Seven Dwarfs Mine Train instead. So
yeah. What we got was a major improvement. However, it is a classic. And I think if they did bring it back someplace else in the Magic Kingdom or in another location in Fantasyland, rather, I think it would work.
Right.
I think it would.
Oh, I agree.
Yeah.
I agree.
Here's one: the Skyway.
The Skyway, I understand why it went away, and
Yep.
I'd be worried about it being there now.
Yeah, I think it would cause more liability than anything else.
Yeah, there were problems with people dropping popcorn occasionally, but nowadays we didn't walk. Yeah, we had cameras, but most people had the camera wrapped around. They didn't just lean over and take the picture and stuff.
Yep.
With phones nowadays, I'd be afraid of phones falling on people's heads.
Yeah, think about the attractions that have to get shut down for 45 minutes an hour because people keep dropping things. I think it's a nightmare waiting to happen. I think the Skyway should stay away.
Well, I don't see it returning for the simple fact that there's so many days that it can't be open because of the wind and the weather.
Yep.
And the lightning and everything else. It's just, for safety standpoint, it just wasn't the safest attraction. Did I enjoy it? Yes. Am I glad my wife got to ride it before they shut it down? Yeah. But I don't think it would do. You'd almost have to put bars on it, and you'd feel like a caged animal inside of there now. I'd much rather be on the Skyliner now. If you need your fix to be up in the air and see that stuff, just go ride the Skyliner. It's more comfortable too.
It is, and safer. At least I think it's safer. The next one I have on my list here is not an attraction, but it's something that I am passionate about to an extent to bring back. And the reason is I'm not a Starbucks fan. I think there's something missing now in the Magic Kingdom, especially with this not being there. And that is the Main Street Bakery on Main Street. Main Street. Yeah, it is on Main Street. Bring it back.
It's nicer having fresher, like a fresh bakery food there.
Absolutely.
That was nice. As opposed to just a $7 Starbucks drink.
Yeah. You know what? If I want Starbucks, I can go almost anywhere in the United States and find Starbucks.
Go to Target.
Right. Yeah. Go half a mile one way, half a mile another way, you're going to find a Starbucks. I'd rather have Dunkin' Donuts, now called Dunkin'. But I bring back the Main Street Bakery. I think it would work. I think it would be welcome back with open arms.
I agree.
This one, El Pirate y El Pedico.
That was a restaurant.
It was. Okay. So I didn't know I'd put it on the list because, not that I put it on the list. I have this on my list that I pulled off the interwebs.
That is the restaurant that is across the street from, right across the street from the Pirates of the Caribbean. They served, depending on when you were there, they were serving tacos. I think now they're serving hot dogs there.
I ate there years ago.
Yeah, it was the Pirate and the Parrot.
Yeah, I remember getting a salad there in a bowl, and not when I said bowl, like a taco bowl or something.
Nachos, it was stuff like that.
Yeah, it was really good. I couldn't care less if it comes back.
It's open seasonal now, which is what happened there.
Yeah. All right, here's a good one. This comes in a set of 4. If you had wings, if you could fly, dream flight, and take flight.
I've got 2 of the songs in my head right now going through there as you were saying those. I miss that attraction. I enjoyed that attraction. I don't want that to go back in there and replace Buzz Lightyear Space Ranger Spin.
Yeah.
Let's keep Buzz.
I think that attraction had its time, had its moment. I just don't think it could work with certain generations today. It might with some, might with others, but
it was relaxing. The coolest thing about it, literally, was it was a nice air-conditioned, slow-moving attraction to just kick back and relax and look at places around the world.
And we'll get to another one in another park like that later on.
Exactly.
Yeah, we don't need that back. Here's another one. I'm not going to say anything. I have a strong opinion about this for different reasons, but let's see what you have to say about it. Mission to Mars.
Remember, well, Mission to the Moon only lasted a little bit, and then it became Mission to Mars. And the thing I remember about it was when I was a little kid, we actually went to one of these planetarium places, and it was in a circle like that. And I'm like, oh my gosh, I've been to this. This is so cool. I went to this at Walt Disney World. The seat cushions are just going to sink in and stuff. It's going to feel like we're actually flying. And the girl sitting next to me looked at me and went, what the heck are you talking about? and then I felt embarrassed because once you actually see what's going on, it's nothing to do like that. But it for its time, it was good special effects. Now, I want something to go back in there, but I'm sure you're going to be talking about it. And I don't, another incarnation other than the Mission to Mars would be better.
Yeah, I agree. I'd like to see, I think it had its time. And I think its time is long over with for that kind of a track. I think just the technology alone is just not.
Bingo. Right.
It's just not good for it. Whereas, and I'm going to just reference the Carousel of Progress here, which I love, and I would hate to ever see go. But I think with something like the Carousel of Progress, I think if they could return it to its original form, that last scene, forget about trying to keep up with technology. I think it would work better. And I would hate to see that ever go. But Mission to Mars, it's just like, been there, done that, bye-bye.
It would need a lot of help.
It would.
So it would need. I mean, what are they going to do? Have us go like not Jeff Bezos. Who's the other one?
Like
we're flying out into space. Elon Musk. We're flying out his ship out into space, floating there for a second and coming back down. I mean, we're going to be like Captain Kirk saying, "I really didn't enjoy this as much as I thought I would."
You know what?
And he did the actual thing. So.
And you have Mission Space in Epcot.
Well, yeah, there you do. The vomit comet.
Yeah. Well. And they don't even leave Earth anymore on the
on the green.
Yeah. I don't know whose idea that was, but not a good one. All right. Extraterrestrial alien invasion. There you go.
That is what I said a later edition that I'd like to see back. That held the test of time. That could come back and would do well. The only reason why it went away, I'm convinced the only reason why it went away was they needed to get Stitch in there somehow. That was the easy fix.
Yep.
I wish they would bring the extraterrestrial back.
Yeah.
Just put a disclaimer. It's scary. Put videos on the outside to scare the little kids away. Raise the height requirement to scare the little kids away.
Yeah. Yeah. They could do that. Absolutely. Next one I have on here. I don't remember this. You'll probably remember this. America the Beautiful.
America the Beautiful was a movie. I think it showed up on Main Street, if I remember correctly. No. That showed over where Monsters Inc. Laugh Floor is.
Ah, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
How would it do today? It's past its prime.
It's past its prime.
Yeah.
You would need to update it. It's too many things are not accurate anymore.
It's like the movie in Canada. By the time they update it, it's like, okay, time to update it again.
Time to update it again.
Actually, it's a good movie, the one in Canada now.
I enjoy that one.
Yeah, I do too. American Journeys.
Magic Journeys.
I have American Journeys.
It's Magic Journeys.
I will correct that.
Magic Journeys used to be the Magic Journeys, the original. Remember the Captain or the Captain EO /
yes.
Honey, I Shrunk the Audience. Magic Journeys was a 3D video that showed in that theater. So the first thing you got was Kodak's Making Memories was the beginning that came out. It was a little not singing it, sorry. But that was the pre-show, and then when that got done, you went and saw Magic Journeys, this 3D movie. I wasn't a fan of it, and then they moved it over into the Magic Kingdom.
Hmm.
And once it was moved to the Magic Kingdom, it was the same exact thing. Basically, it's where Mickey's Thriller Magic is now. They needed something in there to fill it in, and that's what they put in the theater.
Yeah, so unfortunately, they do that from time to time, rather than keep something empty. The Magic Carpet Ride around the world.
Magic Carpet Ride around the world.
That's what I have on here. All right, let's cross that off. Like I said, I pulled this. I don't know where I got this on the internet. I don't remember, but I pulled it.
I don't know Magic Carpet Ride around the world.
Okay, so we'll cross that off. It could be that I just happened to go to a site that didn't have an exact list of everything or an accurate list of everything.
I mean, we know the Magic Carpets of Aladdin.
Yes, yeah, but I don't think that's not.
It's still there.
It is still there.
Magic Carpet Ride around the world, not in the Magic Kingdom.
Unless
it was something really short-lived, and I didn't.
It was the Aladdin Carpet Ride before it was Aladdin.
Well, they used to have something. It was a Magic Carpet Ride, but that was over in it was either Epcot or Disney Springs with Disney Quest. So one of those had one of those rides like that, but I don't remember exactly what it was called.
I'm looking it up now. Magic Kingdom Magic Carpet Ride. Here we go. Now yeah, it's coming up as Aladdin.
Yeah, that's Aladdin. I don't.
So it might have just been they changed the name. That could be it.
So now I thought you were going to say like America on Parade, which was the bicentennial parade.
Mm-hmm.
Little scary. Some of the characters, they're really big.
Yeah, I remember seeing videos of that years and years ago before I ever went.
Yeah, I posted pictures on it when we used to do the blog.
Yeah,
I posted vintage. I did a vintage pictures through the years, and I had picture those up. Oh man, it was different.
Yeah. All right. Exhibition Hall.
It's still there. It's the Mickey Mouse meet and greet now. At the front of the building where they have
oh yeah.
Oh, what's the restaurant there?
Theater there they never did, or in that area.
Right. So it was in their exhibition hall. You could actually go through, and it showed you like that's where they were having before Epcot was built. You could walk in there, and it would show you the exact everything that Epcot was going to look like. And it did the same. Every new park that was opening, they were showing it off in there, what was going on, and so where you could go and pick up your pictures.
Yeah, that's right. All right, here's one I know your answer to, but I'm going to give it to you anyway. 20,000 Leagues Under the
Sea. I'm staring at it. 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea. Couple updates would need to be done to it. Those were diesel engines. Those diesel fumes were pretty strong in there. I loved the attraction. My wife's comment is, I don't know how well it would have lasted because people don't know what that is anymore.
Yeah,
and I said, but if you did everything in the opening, like you'd have video screens up above while you were waiting, and it would explain everything that was going on, so it would be a little bit more exciting. Number one. Number two, by now you would have updated that technology just like they did in Disneyland, so that you would see photos of like incorporating in fish or something out there on a video screen, so it would be three-dimensional like they do in The Living Seas, with that whole thing going on with Nemo, so that it would look more three-dimensional with all that.
Yeah, I think if they brought it back with updated technology, it would work very well. I think it would be a smash with young ones, especially.
The problem, it's not American Handicap I don't know what that's called. ADA,
I know.
American Disability Act. You couldn't do it, so they would have to completely redo it. So there was a way you could have an elevator to lower down a wheelchair, so they would be able to see in there.
I'm trying to remember what they did at Disneyland. I don't recall because there was an attraction that was it. Is it Little Mermaid or Nemo? I forgot the name.
It's the Nemo. It's still called the Nautilus. They're the yellow submarine.
It's a tight squeeze too for even an average sized adult.
They did somehow make an adjustment to it. They had to when they reopened it. And I honestly don't remember. It's been probably 15 years since they reopened it, but maybe even 20. And I don't remember.
Yeah, and I was on it in
They had to make it.
2018. But do you think I remember? I remember it being a tight squeeze for every adult on that attraction.
Right.
But I think it could work. Let's see here. Oh, here's one. The attraction is still there. However, it has changed, and this is not there. The Country Bear Jamboree, Vacation Hoedown, and Christmas Show.
That's two different ones. So the Vacation Hoedown was the summer edition. They would show that in the summer.
Mm-hmm.
And then during the rest of the year, you'd see what you're seeing now. Except for Christmas time, they would change it and give it the Christmas layover. It was too much for them to keep up. They changed they felt it needed to be changed, and there was too much backlash from the change. Everyone went back to just they wanted the original. They didn't want the voices weren't the same because the voice actors had passed away. I love that original. That original to me is it's held fast the test of time. However, I do wish that the Christmas one was still available. Mm-hmm. I did enjoy that.
So yeah. So just to let the folks out there at home know, Kurt has been going to Disney since it's been open pretty much.
April of 1972.
Yeah, whereas my first trip to Disney World was in 1990. So so you could see the difference in how I'm responding to things and how Kurt is, because Kurt's actually experienced a lot of this stuff.
Now,
remembers it.
Granted, the Country Bear Jamboree of today isn't what it used to be. I'll admit it was a little bit less politically correct. There's a couple songs that got taken out because they were just kind of a little bit slow. Same thing happened with the Tiki Room. Mm-hmm. Unfortunately, with both of those attractions, you get into the middle of the show, and those are dark shows. You really need it to be dark so you can enjoy it. And all of a sudden, the Tiki Room, the doors open and people are walking out. That used to drive me crazy. So where it helped in the Tiki Room, to me, everything seems like there's pieces that were cut out of the Country Bear Jamboree that I wish it would have left in. They even shortened a song or two, and I wish they just kept it the full length. They felt that the length of it was too long, so they needed to cut it out. It used to be like 18 minutes long, and I think it's 12 now. So one or two people were completely cut out. And they made it a little bit more politically correct. We'll just leave it at that.
You know what? I'm getting off track here a little bit, but staying with the Country Bears. You know what I'd like to see them do? I'd like to see them hand over the Country Bear Jamborees to Lewis Black, who is an extraordinary comedian, and let him go to work on the dialogue. Can you imagine? That place would be shut down in 2 seconds.
That would not go well.
Oh, hell no. No, it wouldn't go well at all.
That would not pass.
Yeah, but if you've never seen Lewis Black perform, oh my God, a lot of his videos are up on Amazon Prime, on YouTube. It's just, you can't be very sensitive to things to watch him, but he's really funny and very honest and open in his thoughts.
There's a lot of comedians that feel that all this, I'm sorry, I don't know, I'm just going to say political correctness has really hurt the comedic
people. It has.
It really has. Because you can't afford somebody. You're always going to, no matter what you say, you're going to offend somebody. Even when you're not even trying to offend somebody, someone's going to misunderstand what you're saying and they're going to be offended by it.
You know, my favorite comedian of all time was Don Rickles, and he offended everybody. But you know what? He always, after you didn't feel like you were welcomed if he didn't offend you. I went to see him perform when I was living in New York out on Long Island, and he picked on one of the people I was with who happened to be Asian. And you know what? She knew it was just him being Don Rickles and being humorous and funny, and she took it very well, and she was laughing the whole time, and she loved it. She loved getting the attention from him. She was picked out of how many hundreds of people in that crowd.
Right.
and loved it. And he meant no ill will by what he said. It was to show people that there are stupid people out there that are bigots and prejudiced and racist,
Right.
and they shouldn't be out there and allowed to walk the streets. But he did it in a funny way to help try to bring us together in a strange way.
Right.
Okay, back on track.
Moving on.
Yeah, where were we? The timekeeper.
They needed to update it. I enjoyed it. There's one problem. You can't update it when Robin Williams passes away.
Yep. Yeah.
It was a good show. It had the Twin Towers in it.
No
unfortunately. So it's one of those that needed to be updated.
Yeah. I don't think they could. They probably could
do
that, but would it work? It might be too much work for the effort.
No, well, they could. That's the type of attraction. And when we get to Epcot, I'm going to say the same thing. That's the type of attraction that they were designed to be able to replace out the film itself, and they could go around and just re-edit whatever the timekeeper was saying. The Nine Eye, re-edit what they were saying. Rhea Perlman, yes, she's still with us. Unfortunately, we lost Robin Williams well before his time. So without him, it doesn't work.
No, it doesn't. And you know what? He was such a unique genius.
Mm-hmm.
You can't find. There's nobody else out there who can duplicate or replicate, however you want to word it. So it's without him. Just don't even try. Starjets.
They're still there.
Okay, first off my list.
Well, it just has a new name. That's the what's over the top of the Tomorrowland Transit.
The Astro Orbiter.
Astro Orbiter. There's your Starjets.
That's the same.
They painted them.
Okay. All right.
They painted them. That's all they did, and they gave them a new name.
We'll cross that off. I'll give two in a row here: Swan Boats and Mike Fink Keel Boats.
The Mike Finn keel boats was a keel boat that rode on a track around the River of America alongside the steamboat. It was fine. I mean,
I think
would it hold out? It was fine. It's just that you can fit more people on the steamboat than you do on that, and it became seasonal because it just wasn't as popular anymore. You do have to. It's too much river traffic also between that and people going back and forth on to get over to Tom Sawyer Island.
I think that would be something that would be really fun to bring back. But like you said, how long would the popularity be there to sustain it? I don't know that it would. It might, I think initially it might get the crowd, and then that would be it.
It would have to be a very crowded day, and people go, "Oh, look, a keel boat. Let's go."
Yeah, let's try. We can't get on anything else. Let's try that.
Right now, they still have the landing there. That's my quiet spot area. You can walk down there. There's rocking chairs. There's a checkerboard down there with checkers on it. You can play checkers. Go for it.
Yeah. The Walt Disney Story. That was where PhilharMagic is, isn't it? Or am I thinking?
No, the Walt Disney Story was up in Expedition Hall.
Okay.
It's.
All right, I was thinking of the wrong thing.
I thought for a while they were showing the Walt Disney Story at Walt Disney, the One Man's Dream. I could be wrong though, but the Swan Boats. We can't bring the Swan Boats back.
Oh, that's right. I did mention that before. Right.
We don't have a river. We don't have that river where it went anymore.
Yeah.
So.
Here's one. The attraction is still there, but it's in its original form. And you'll probably agree with me on this one. The Enchanted Tiki Room under new management. There's one word to answer this.
Bye.
Yep. Bye. See ya. No, don't do it. All right. Tell me if this one's crazy or not, or if this is an actual thing. Shrunken Ned's Junior Jungle Boats.
I drove those.
Ah.
Those were over by the Jungle Cruise. They were little radio-controlled boats. in that little water area alongside between the Jungle Cruise and the Swiss Family Treehouse. They had little radio control boats. You could control them. The problem, you'd put in your $2 and the battery on the boat was dead and you had no control over it.
Wow. Yeah, so no to that. The Penny Arcade.
The Penny Arcade was on Main Street, and it's exactly what it was.
I know.
You could play, there were pennies, and you play little games in there.
There's
still remnants of it. If you go above in the railroad, there's still some up there. I think they're all free now.
Yeah, I think if they brought something like that back, it would be very popular amongst the grandparents, and that's probably it.
That's it. And the maintenance on those, that's part of the reason why it went away. The maintenance, you had to remake whatever was broken because there were no parts available anymore.
Here's another one, blast from the past. Davy Crockett's Explorer canoes.
Those in the summertime were horrible. So, but I think there were 12-man canoes. So good luck getting that out of there, Stuart. Oh, my knees are hurting just thinking about it. So, but you always had a guide on the back that could help steer you. I don't know how they kept those things from tipping over.
Yeah. Now, this is something I remember way back when with my kids. Legend of the Lion King.
That's where, that is right now where Mickey's Thriller Magic is. Yep. That replaced Magic Journeys.
Yeah. And that was my next one on my list. So let's lump the two together, Magic Journeys and Legend of the Lion King. I think the Legend of the Lion King would work elsewhere, not exactly where it was, maybe in Animal Kingdom.
You've already got that. I'd rather see the actual Lion King attraction they have there now.
Oh, I saw it today, as a matter of fact. It's still phenomenal. Yeah. And they're now having kids participate.
Oh, they're letting the kids in again? Okay, good.
So that's good. Magic Journeys? I don't remember Magic Journeys at all.
We already said Magic Journeys. We talked about Magic Journeys. That was the 3D movie.
You're right. Let's see. I'm going to skip that one. I don't think it's important. Oh, there's Mickey's Toontown Fair, which is
Mickey's house was cool. Don't walk into the rooms. Don't reach into the rooms. The alarm will go off. I got some great photos in there. The Great Goofini is still there, and that's Goofy's Barnstormer or whatever it's called now. Minnie Moo used to be there. Minnie Moo was the cow that actually had a hidden Mickey on her back. Unfortunately, she passed away. I believe from cancer, actually.
Oh, God.
Sorry. But I actually have, they actually made a little town out of Mickey's Toontown Fair. Mm-hmm. So it had Donald's boat. It had the tree house from Chippendale's tree house, Minnie's house, Mickey's house, something, all of it. I don't know. I've got the whole thing. It's set up in my living room right now.
You know, I think if they had a place for it, it would still work very well. I think what they replaced it with is better, but I think if they still had the room for it, it still could work today.
Yeah, it was great for little kids.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Right. Let's see here. Spectro Magic.
Spectral Magic was their nighttime.
Yep. And you never know, that could come back someday. They kind of do that with
that was a newer version. That was an 80s version of the Main Street Electrical Parade.
Yeah.
I like the song. It was very whimsical. Mm-hmm. It was nice. It's very calming. Your kid's gonna fall asleep while you're watching the show.
My kids loved it when they were little. I'd like to see that come back someday, even if it was for a short period of time.
Right.
Fantasy in the Sky, and we're done with Magic Kingdom on my list.
Fantasy in the Sky fireworks. That was the original fireworks. It was fine. It was a fireworks show to music. It's not what we have now, but it was fine.
Yeah.
I like better what we're having now and what we're getting back. So.
Yep. Yeah, and I'm glad we're getting that back. All right, we're done with Magic Kingdom. Unless you had something on your list that I
didn't mention. Okay. No, you hit everything. Moving on.
Okay. Horizons and Epcot.
I miss Horizons. You definitely would have to update some things because
Oh yeah.
things that they wanted to come true by this time haven't come through. My wife hated it because you were hanging as you went around on that thing.
Wow.
And as you look down into things and you realized how high up in the air you were, she's like, I don't like this. Because it feels like she felt like basically it's designed like a taking your stuff to the cleaners and hanging there. And yeah, she didn't like that.
Wow. I'd like to see it come back, but I think something we have to remember, there's a big following of people who, well, not a following, a big group of people that would like to see Horizons come back. But what you have to remember too is the reason it went away was because nobody was riding the attraction.
We'd go on it because it was a nice, quiet attraction. That's the only, and it was air conditioned. That's the only reason why my wife would ride it. I loved it. I missed the orange groves and the smell of the oranges. Yeah, she didn't like it.
Now, here's one of my favorites of all time. World of Motion.
That I miss. That I miss. It's fun to be free.
I miss it a lot. I would love to see it come back, but what I'd have to question is, would somebody who is younger than me or a child or, whether it be a teenager or a young adult, would they appreciate it for what it is, even if they updated the vehicles?
Well,
and the story.
It's telling the history of the World of Motion, of how it started. So I enjoyed it because when you go on it with an adult who's older than you and they're explaining this is what it was originally, this is what this is, and then they can answer the questions. It's great. Yeah, back when I used to have to walk uphill both directions in the snow, even in the middle of the summer to get to school.
Can I tell you how many times my father would tell me when I was a kid, I had to walk to school. It was 5 miles in each direction, no buses, no.
Yeah, it was uphill both directions. How do you do that? I came home a different direction.
Yeah, sure.
Okay, I don't know how you pull that one off, but whatever.
Yeah. All right. If I'm voting, I would vote to bring it back.
The World of Motion? Yeah. I would wish they could incorporate something with the World of Motion in the beginning of Test Track.
Yep.
That would be great.
You know what would be good? It's not going to happen if you took out Mission Space and you put World of Motion there. And guess what? Next door is Test Track.
Not going to happen.
I know it's not.
I wish they would incorporate the old Test Track with the new Test Track, in that I want to be able to build the car.
Yep.
I want to be able to test the car, but I don't want it to look like I'm being nuked and glowing in the dark.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I can't do Jerry Seinfeld, but that would be the perfect thing for Jerry Seinfeld to say. I want to build the car, I want to test the car, but I don't want to nuke the car.
Yeah.
Probably I can't do Jerry Seinfeld. But yeah, I agree with you. Well, it's still there, but it's not the same attraction it once was. So I am gonna mention it. Journey into Your Imagination.
I want the original back.
I want the original back.
I want some form of. I want them to work on that attraction and somehow bring back the Dreamfinder.
Yeah. Yep.
Somehow make him not quite. I guess they got rid of the Dreamfinder because he was scaring little kids. I was never scared when I was a little kid.
I know. Look,
so I don't know. I just make it so the Dreamfinder is a little bit more modern day, because that was like a lot of the stuff was turn of the century. It was all nostalgic, but the Dreamfinder was. I miss that.
Yeah,
I miss that.
Yeah, I think they need to bring back the original and somehow bring back the Dreamfinder with it.
Now, part of the problem again, the voice of Figment, he's no longer with us.
I know.
So, but you can computer generate that voice.
You can also get a voiceover actor who could duplicate it.
He was pretty unique. Yeah, Billy had his own he was his own guy.
I know a couple of voiceover artists that I know could handle that. Maybe not that particular voice, but they would know somebody who could.
True.
This I have on here. I don't know why it's on here, because it's still there. It's probably because the elevators Remember in the Living Seas, you go up and down the elevator.
Remember how the lady sued
Yeah,
because
yeah,
she got the bends? She said it brought her up too quickly and she got the bends.
Oh
And
God.
then they took her there and they opened one door and opened up the other door and said, exactly how did you get the bends?
Yeah.
Because they didn't realize they were just going through and that the floor was shaking.
Yep.
So I miss the deluge in the
Yes.
beginning of how it all started and everything. I felt you could actually have that whole beginning portion, use that, and then still go through and do everything with Nemo.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think there is a way they could do something with that, but I'm okay with it not being there.
The other, well, I do miss, they used to actually, there's that dive tube in the middle.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
They used to use that all the time, and I miss that. I wish they would use the dive tube again.
Yeah. And you know what? I think that would work if they brought it back, but if they don't, I'm okay with it too.
It's a walkthrough attraction now. People ride Nemo, they take 2 seconds looking at everything, and they walk right out.
All right. Now, the next one I have, the pavilion is still there, but it's an empty shell of what it was, and that's the Wonders of Life Pavilion and Body Wars.
And Cranium Command.
Yep. That's
Body Wars.
That was
okay, here we go. We'll start with Body
together.
Wars.
Yeah.
So Body Wars suffered from the same issue of the original Star Tours. The videos got really grainy. With a high definition screen in there now, and update the film a little bit, Body Wars still works because you're inside the body. The body doesn't. It's not like the body's different now than when it was when that was made. It still works. The whole story still works.
But you know what they could do if they brought back Body Wars? They could change. They could do something like Star Tours where it could focus on different body parts, so you have to go and rewrite it to see more.
Exactly, because they could change it up easily and piece it all together. I totally agree.
Yeah.
So that would work. And Cranium Adventure, I actually just listened to, it must have been a rerun edition where they were talking about Cranium Adventure. Lou Mangello was talking about it. And when it was originally created, that was created where you could change out the videos. So if you wanted to change it out and change things, you could. It just, they shut down the pavilion, so they didn't.
Right. Yeah, I'd like to see that pavilion make a comeback. I know they closed it down because they lost the sponsorship. Hopefully there's some insurance company out there that would be willing to sponsor it again. Did anybody say Advent Health, who's also in a partnership with Disney? Maybe they could sponsor it and bring that pavilion back with the aforementioned attraction and new attractions.
We did not need to see the making of me again. They can keep that away.
I remember watching that and with my son, and we were like, "Is he too young for this? Will he understand it?" And it just went, thank God. But I don't think there's a place. I think there's a place for it, but not there.
Well, that was part of the edutainment. They had to. You had to learn it somewhere. But all right, give me the next one.
Yeah. Okay. I'm gonna 2 in 1 because it's the same pavilion, and one is the original, one was the second version of it. I guess. Yeah. Universe of Energy and Ellen's Energy Adventure.
You miss your nap time, don't you?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
You miss your nap.
Yeah, but I wouldn't bring it back because of that.
I have not ridden Guardians of the Galaxy attraction yet, but I'm sure it's got to be more entertaining than that was.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
I mean, it was entertaining, but it's extremely dated.
Yes, it was. It was very dated. I think if they could somehow do an updated version of it, it would fit better in Dino Land in Animal Kingdom than it would in Magic Kingdom at Epcot at this point.
They tried to make something that was an extremely, I don't want to say boring, but it wasn't the most exciting attraction. And they brought in Ellen and they made it more fun. But when it came time to actually go through the attraction, it was still the same. There wasn't a lot going on. There was no narrative really.
It was
as
20
you're
minutes
going
of
through there.
blissful sleep, and the message that it had on the history of energy was lost on people.
It was. It was. It was completely lost.
That's why, you know, if I brought that back, it would have to be an Animal Kingdom. I wouldn't focus on the history of energy as much. I would focus on how it's changed through the times, but not like beat people over the head with it. Like give you something to not make you sleep through the whole thing. I don't know how they can do that, which is why I would not bring it back.
Yeah, I don't know. That I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know if I made any sense there either.
Let's move. We'll move on.
Where was I here? Communicore, which
East or West?
Both.
So one side of Communicore was basically food and shopping,
right, and the other side was
they had a really cool computer thing with a touch screen where you could actually make a roller coaster. Yeah, I thought that was cool. But then again, I was only like 15, 16 years old at the time, and computers were brand new. Kids nowadays are like, are you kidding me? I make roller coasters all the time online. Yeah. So that was neat. It was fun at the beginning when you actually learned how the computers were actually doing everything. Yep. Nowadays, there's TV shows on how they're doing it.
Yep.
So you're watching that at home, whereas back then you couldn't watch it at home.
Yeah.
So I'm interested to see what they're doing with the replacement, because what went in there got to the point of where my kids didn't even want to walk through it anymore. It just wasn't.
So my kids enjoyed it, but it got to the point where it was like, there are other things we want to do. I don't want to spend that much time here. We'll go in for a few minutes, but then we want to get out of here.
Right.
Yeah. You know where I think it would fit better, believe it or not, if they did it the right way, which I don't know how they could, because like you said, everything is online now, would be Disney Springs.
Disney Quest.
Yeah.
Where Disney Quest was.
Where Disney Quest was, and the NBA bombed.
So there was that Magic Carpet of Aladdin ride that I was talking about. Actually was, once you mentioned that, it was at Communicore. And you could ride that thing there, and it was the precursor to Disney Quest.
Yeah. Yeah, but that would be, the NBA experience, which completely bombed it at Disney Springs. That would be the place to put that.
I believe, I think it lasted longer than I predicted it was going to last.
Yeah. So, here's a couple of good ones. I'm going to put them together, but you can give separate answers. Kitchen Cabaret and Food Rock.
Food Rocks. They're cute. Kitchen Cabaret was more 50s music. Again, you could tell the times of when it was being designed. That was their classic rock back at 50s, 60s music, kind of stuff that they were doing. It got a little too cheesy, no pun intended.
I loved it. I'd love to see it come back.
Food Rock. I don't know why it went away. I mean, it was more the 80s stuff. It definitely, problem is, again, same thing. It gets lost on little kids because they don't know who these people are.
So as much as I would love to see them back, you just hit the nail on the head. It's not going to work in today's world.
Right.
I loved it, but that doesn't mean this generation and the next generation are going to love it.
Yeah, it's the people that they're referencing. People, oh yeah, I remember him. I forgot about him. People nowadays are like, I don't even know who that was.
All right. El Rio del Tiempo. Now we still have something there. That's in the Mexican Pavilion, if I'm thinking of the right place.
Yes.
The Three Amigos there now.
I prefer the newer attraction.
And I like the old attraction, but I know it was outdated. I know it wouldn't work now. But I like the older version better.
Right. There were certain things about it that definitely needed to be updated. The song is still stuck in my head. The minute you said it, it started doing the la 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 la. Not going there. Not going there.
Yeah, it's all right. Let's see. Next one, Magic Journeys.
We already talked about that.
Oh,
That was
yeah?
an Epcot, or that was in the Magic Kingdom as well.
Oh, you're right.
It
You're right.
started here and went to the Magic
That's right.
Kingdom
You did mention
when we
that.
got Captain EO. And you want to go to Captain EO then?
Yeah.
Because it was in the same place
Well,
as Captain EO.
Captain EO, Honey, I Shrunk the Kids.
Captain EO, Honey, I Shrunk the Audience. Captain EO, when it came out, was just groundbreaking. I mean, it cost $1 million a minute to make that movie.
Yep. And then they brought it back.
And then it went away, and then they brought it back, and you realized how cheesy it was.
Yep. Yeah.
But we took the kids to go and see it, and that's the first thing out of their mouth was, okay, this is kind of neat. This is really cheesy. We don't have to see that again. Yeah. Honey, I Shrunk the Audience, I enjoyed. It was a bit scary for some little kids. That whole, when they made it so that everything moved, and like you actually felt like you were part of the audiences who were walking around with you. It definitely suspended your belief of what was going on, and you're like, oh wow, did we just get shrunk and everything else? But it's dated. No one knows who Zelensky is.
Yeah, I thought it was very good for its time, but it's dated. They have to find something else to put there. Oh God, and I think that's what the struggle has been, why they haven't done anything. If you look at, and we'll get to, there's another attraction, a 3D attraction in another park that I believe is timeless and still works. Although the audiences are not there all the time. And I'll mention Muppet Vision 3D.
Right.
They need
I knew where
to
you're
come
going
up with something like that that's timeless, that can sustain generation to generation, and not have to worry about replacing it every few years with something else.
Right.
That's very difficult to do. They did it once. Right. Could they do it again? Maybe. But it hasn't happened yet.
We'll touch that subject when we get there. Yeah. But yeah, this one, no, it just doesn't work anymore, unfortunately.
All right. God, I'm going to mention this because I know what you're going to say. At least I think I know what you're going to say. Maelstrom.
I'm not going to say Let It Go. I liked Maelstrom, so I wouldn't mind Maelstrom back. Did we ride it every time? No. Did we enjoy it when we rode it? Yes. Was the clear message there? No. Did we stay for the whole video of everything about Norway? No, we walked right through it.
Yep.
It wasn't replaced for a good reason? Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's everything I would say about it. I loved it. I don't think the people were right who were screaming, bring it back, because it was a walk-on attraction. Now, you need a Genie Plus to get on it.
The last time we rode on it, it said it was going to be like a 15-minute wait. It was a 40-minute wait.
You know what the problem is now? And I don't know why this is happening. I don't know if it's people throwing things out of the boat or if it's...
This was when it was Maelstrom.
See, I never had a problem with it. It was always like 5 minutes. Walk on. It took us, from the time it took us to get from the beginning of the line to the boats, that's how long it took. It was just a continuous walk. We never had to wait.
Now, and I hate saying this, but one of my favorite part of that was the mural on the wall and finding all the hidden Mickeys.
I have a picture of that somewhere.
There was a couple hidden Mickeys. Yeah. So, because you had one on the Viking ship, and you had the guy that was working wearing his Mickey Mouse watch as well.
Yeah, I think I actually posted that picture in one of my articles when we had the WDW Fan Zone website.
You probably stole it from me.
I probably didn't. So no to bringing Maelstrom back, because it's basically still there in a new form that everybody has to see, because Anna and Elsa and Olaf are in there.
I just wish it was still open as a waterfall as you were falling backwards.
Yeah.
My sister wanted to ride that attraction. It'd been forever. She never got to ride it. It was either down or it was an hour and 10-minute wait. She went there last week. She sat down on the boat and she's like, wait, what? She got soaked.
Wow.
She's like, I don't remember getting soaked in this track. So somewhere it must bounce and she got splashed and then she was wet. And luckily it was a warm day when she was there. But oh well.
Okay. The next one on the list, the Omnibus.
I rode that omnibus, main level and the top level. They had to get rid of it because that was your way. You could actually, it would drive around, and it would stop at certain points around the lake to get around. Well, look at that walkway, at how narrow that walkway is. With the number of people we have walking around Epcot now,
wouldn't work.
Drive it anymore.
Yeah.
That used to. I can remember riding that bus around in the Magic Kingdom.
When did they stop that? Because for some reason, I remember like my early trips, of being there and having to get out of the way to let it go by.
You're talking about the Magic Kingdom or Epcot?
Epcot.
Had to be the early 90s, mid 90s, somewhere in there.
That's what
because I know by 2002, by 2002, they were using it for not characters on parade, but it was a character bus.
Yeah.
And they would bring the characters out in the bus, and they would exit the bus. Because I have pictures of it was Pluto grabbing my eldest son and putting him on his lap, and my son was hooked.
Yeah.
That was it. Done.
Yeah, like I said, I had vague memories of it going by, and you have to step out of the way to let it go by, or you get run over.
Yeah.
All right. This wasn't an attraction. It was a game you play, but I'll mention it anyway. Kim Possible World Showcase Adventure.
I loved it. It was fun. My kids were like, they wanted to do it once, and then they're like, okay, we're done.
They could bring, if not Kim Possible, they could bring something else that's popular on the Disney Channel.
Did.
Oh, did they?
There's something else going on there now. I can't remember what it is exactly, but there is something going on there right now.
Yeah, I don't pay attention to that, but no, thank you for letting me know.
Yeah.
All right. The Sorcerer Mickey. Then it says 2001. No, the 2001. No, Sorcerer Mickey. No. That's on Spaceship Earth. That's referring to.
Oh, you're talking about the wand.
Yeah. No.
There was it was a wand initially that said 2000 on it.
Mm-hmm.
And then they did the Mickey hand. Then once 2000 was done,
yeah,
it became the hand.
I hope they destroyed it and it never returns.
It did. Well, when they took it down, it was back in storage and it was pretty well destroyed.
Yeah, that would not work today. It just wouldn't. It would destroy the light show that they put on Spaceship Earth.
That light show really does help. I will say the first year that it was gone, we're like, oh, that's cool. It's not there anymore. And then after a while, every once in a while, we'll say, remember the hand? That was kind of neat. But the wand.
All right. I don't remember this one for some reason. Millennium Village? I should.
Yes. So Millennium Village was, you went in there, it was things from, it was basically like little kiosk type areas from, I think it had like food and stuff in there from around the world that wasn't part of the World Showcase. When you go past Canada, just before you get to United Kingdom, there's a walkway that turns in there, and there's food in there sometimes. That's where you can get some of the foods. They do that. Awesome bathrooms. Rosa bathroom. That right there was the Millennium Village. It's huge. The problem with it was I knew a cast member who worked in maintenance, and they complained about it. The kitchen was on one level and everything else was on a different level. So it was built very inefficient.
Yeah.
So it is there though still.
Epcot Surprise in the Skies.
Was that the fireworks show or was that the water show?
I think that was the, you know what? I don't know.
Was that the water show?
Let's see.
Surprise. Hang on. Some of all those. I don't remember.
A brief moment to look this up. Let's see. Let's see, what was this?
Epcot Surprise in the Skies. They were flying.
Colored smoke was shot up in the air. as 6 boats entered World Showcase Lagoon.
Yeah, it was. They were pulling around hang gliders.
Well, I can tell you right
That's
now,
what
if
it was.
Kurt doesn't remember this, it wouldn't work today.
Yeah. It was 1991 and 92. God, it was so long ago. That's why I don't remember
that was
very well.
okay. So that was in between my first visit and my second visit, so I never got to see.
So it was. I probably have pictures of it somewhere if I could find them. It was. They were like the ultralights.
Mm-hmm.
Not necessarily ultralight. It was like the parachutes that had the motors on the back, like an ultralight. So they'd fly around and had a show going on there. It was for the Walt Disney World's 20th anniversary in 1991. So it was a daytime show. I was in the air conditioning.
Okay. We're getting there. We're almost done with Epcot.
Okay.
Tapestry of Nations.
Cool, but it was almost a little creepy. They were oversized figures that would walk around, and it was showing it was that whole, we all need to get along and work together, and they would walk around. But again, the problem was they'd have handlers saying, you need to move out of the way, you need to move out of the way, as these things were coming through on the walkways, and they walked their way around the World Showcase. Awesome music.
I could see it working today if they redesigned the characters.
Yeah, they were a little, I don't know how to describe them even.
If they did it as a midday parade, I think it could work.
Because it went on at like 7 o'clock at night.
And then
it was a precursor to the show. Yeah, it was precursor to Illuminations.
Yeah, that's why.
So now here you got everyone that's standing there. They're already waiting, and now there's nowhere else for anyone to go because go inside that building so we can walk past here.
Yeah, that's why I think if they could do it as a midday parade, might work.
Figure out a way to do it somehow.
I wouldn't mind seeing that come back, but not in its format and time that it was originally.
Maybe if it was smaller, like a cavalcade.
Trapper Bob's Beaver Tales.
That was food.
Okay, we'll cross
that was food over by Canada, if I remember correctly.
All right. Last one then for Epcot. Ice Station Cool. Wasn't that the original?
That's the precursor to the Coca-Cola.
Yep. Club Cool.
Club Cool.
Yep.
Yes, you'd walk in there because we're like, "What the heck is this?" And it looked like it was one of those snow plows that unfortunately was the one that ran over the actor that got run over. That was plowing snow to plow out his nephew. It was one of those, and you'd walk in and we're like, "What is this thing? Let's go in there." And here's this frozen like man, like Encino Man, and then you get inside and we're like, "Oh, is this free? I'll take it."
Yeah, free is good.
Yeah, hey, chug as much Beverly as you want.
Yep, I like the new Club Cool.
Yes,
I like it a lot.
Did I ever tell you my Club Cool story?
No, go ahead.
So this is the ultimate for anyone that's watching this, okay? So we took friends down there. It's their very first trip. This is the only time it's going to work, and they can't know anything about Disney and anything about the Epcot or anything about Club Cool. So we walked into Club Cool, and we started talking it up. And my son, I had to make sure he knew not to blow it. We're like, we're all going to do a shot of Beverly. This is the ultimate. And we're like, ready? And, here's all of us now. We all got it. My wife's like, I'm staying out of this. And we walked over and we're going to like, ready? Toast. Here we go. I put it up to my mouth and I didn't take a sip. And they're like, oh, this is awful. I go, welcome to Club Cool. And I dump mine out there like, why would you do that? I go, that right there is why I just did it. We still talk about that story as much as they were like, that was horrible. They're like, you got us so bad on that. I'm like, you've been initiated. You are now a member of Club Cool.
See, I never tried to trick my kids with that stuff in there. But I remember with my daughter going in there, I knew about Beverly and I wanted to try it. She saw the expression on my face when I tried it, and she would not go near it. And I don't know to this day if she's ever tried it.
My eldest son, still to this day, when we go into Epcot, probably the first one that he drinks is one shot of Beverly. He's like, you got to take a Beverly.
But
And then we put all the watermelon and the mango and all the other ones. So
yeah. They changed it though, because it's not as bitter as it used to be.
I think you've just gotten used to it.
God, I hope not. I hope not. You might be right, but I hope not. But I'm not the only one who said that. I know other people who said the same thing.
It's only made for there, so they probably, because they stopped making that like,
oh, did they?
15 years ago or something.
I didn't know that.
So it's only made for there, so they probably changed it up a little bit. Yeah, because I did research on that once, so I didn't realize it was still being made.
If anybody has written a thesis on Beverly, I'd like to know. All right, so we're done with Epcot. We're going to move on to Disney's Hollywood Studios. Superstar Television.
You loved it, but you
absolutely.
also were part of it.
3 words for that. Bring it back. I think we got great audience participation.
Yeah, tell you what, get rid of that. Well, isn't the Frozen attraction there? Take the Frozen attraction. It's Frozen sing-along. Isn't that where you walk right in right now?
Yep.
Take that and just update it with some newer shows.
Well, why not put it
where it would work better?
Little Mermaid's sitting empty. There's a space there. They could also.
You need a bigger. You need that bigger area. Move Anna and Elsa over to the Little Mermaid. Give that for the little kid studio, okay?
Yeah.
Because let them move over there. This is something for more. It's more of a people eater if it's something like that. Do it. Hey, you turn it into something movie related instead of television related.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I wouldn't mind seeing that. I mean,
exactly.
I'm wondering why the Little Mermaid hasn't come back. And you know what? Even though it's not on this list because it hasn't been officially shut down, it just hasn't returned since the pandemic. And I just don't know why.
I don't think the crowds were waning. I always remember seeing a long line for that.
Oh yeah, it was always packed. So it just makes no sense to me why they wouldn't bring it back. You know,
that whole corner.
Yeah,
it's just empty right now.
It is, unless they have plans to do something with that entire section there, and maybe we won't find out until D23 or another, few years from there. Who knows? They might have plans for that and just keeping their secrets close to their chest.
They're still paying off, but too.
Yeah. Monster Sound Show.
I liked it. I liked that show because I liked the surround sound of those. How they did that, how they do that still, even now with the speakers, how they do that surround sound, I have no idea, but that was cool. So I like that show. Retheme it. Mm-hmm. Retheme it and still do it.
They do Monsters Inc. sound show.
Yeah, something like that. So that's better than the Drew Carey one that went in there afterwards.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, we'll get to that. Actually, let's get to it now. Sounds dangerous.
I'd rather have Monster Sound Show back.
Yep, me too. I'd like Sound Dangerous, but it was the kind of thing, if you did it once, you didn't need to do it again.
No.
Who Wants to Be a Millionaire? That was fun.
I have news for you. There's a handful of attractions I have never seen.
That's
one of them.
Really? We saw it a couple of times with different hosts. And it was fun. It was, I liked it. It was the same thing with, I'm sure I have it on here too, the American Idol experience. That was another one it was fun to watch the people participating.
That's the other one I have never seen.
So I wouldn't mind them bringing those back or something along that line, but I'm okay if they don't. I like them, but that's okay.
That being said, on the cruise ship, our first cruise in 2006, we did Who Wants to Be a Mouseketeer. It was on the first night of the cruise. First number, I think I had number 33. My wife was number 34.
Yeah.
They pulled my number. I won.
Congratulations.
Went
That's
back,
great.
high-fived my wife. They pulled her number.
Wow.
She won.
Wow.
So they had different. We got a pin that says
It
"Who
was
wants to be a
fixed.
mouse?" No, not at all. No, I knew what I was doing. So yeah, so I won, and we both got them. It was these little crystals that say "Who wants to be a Mouseketeer?" You got the little exclusive pin. Only 2 were given out per cruise.
And you had
So we both have them.
and you never put it up on eBay.
No, it's on display
Oh,
upstairs in my living room right now.
okay.
Both of them.
All right. Now, anyway, getting back to Who Wants to Be a Millionaire and American Idol experience. Do I think either or both of those shows would work today? I think that's why they went away. Because I don't think
They lost interest.
Yeah, I think it had its popularity for a brief moment and then it just waned. So I would not, as much as I like them, I would not bring it back.
The shows were good, but however, the show, because look, we watched the taping of a couple shows when we were there. There was a couple like pet shows. We watched those, so we got to see the behind the scenes stuff and everything that was going on. It was neat. However, we had a longer attention span than people do now.
Oh,
That show was easily what, 45 minutes to an hour?
mhm.
Not anymore.
No. If anything goes too long, people want out of there. And
You have to keep them.
In the Lion King show today, there were a group of people, and when I say a group, I don't mean they were together. I mean it was just a group of people. All of a sudden, I see lined up waiting to get the okay to leave the show, and I'm like, why? So people from a few different rows that decided, hey, we've seen enough. Halfway through the show, kids aren't screaming; they're behaving well. Why are you leaving? Maybe
It's a nice, cool show area.
Maybe they had a Genie Plus reservation somewhere they had to get to. I don't know.
I don't know.
All right, where were we here? I remember this one. Doug Live.
Doug Live on that was like, were they walking around? That was where was that stage?
It was in the back area.
All the way in the back.
Yeah.
I don't know if we ever found that stage. I got to be honest with you.
Yeah, no, I would not bring that back. Yeah,
I remember the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. I remember
Hercules.
Blood, Sweat, and Shears. Hercules.
Oh, Hunchback of Notre Dame was another one.
Yeah, see, I'd never.
I have that on my list
Hunchback.
Too. Hercules, I don't have here. Hunchback of Notre Dame, I have. Aladdin. Okay. Aladdin's Royal Caravan was another one.
Yep, I remember that.
The problem with that, and going back to I just want to go back to American Idol and Who Wants to Be a Millionaire briefly, and the same thing would hold true with Doug Live. Whenever you take a TV show that's popular at that moment, it's not going to be popular unless it's The Simpsons, which is a rare exception 3 or 4 years later. So to invest all that money in something like that, I think Disney's learned their mistake in doing that. Not that the attractions were bad, it's just that it ran its course very quickly. And I think they need to stay away from things like that. So what worked for the first few years it was there, they've come to see that it doesn't hold up over the long haul. Speaking of which, Journey to Narnia. They sold the rights to that.
That was like a
movie, I should say.
It was literally like a closet-sized room.
Yes.
It was small.
Yes.
And then once you went in, because you had to go through the wardrobe.
It was holographic.
Yeah. And once you were through it, it was like,
that's it? Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah. It was, the technology at the time was great, but you're absolutely right. It was like, that's it? Yeah, that is it. No more.
Yeah. My basement's bigger than this. And I have a small basement.
All right. The Magic of Disney Animation Tour.
That I miss.
Yeah, I missed that a lot.
That was fun.
It was,
That
and I'd
was
love
fun.
to see that come back.
I would too. There was unfortunately too much back and forth.
Yeah.
Between the two, between Florida and hey, Brother Bear was awesome. Great movie. But there was too much back and forth between California and Florida.
Yep.
And the technology wasn't there where they could just share things instantaneously.
Yeah, I agree.
At the time.
Where is it? Here Come the Muppets.
That was short lived.
Yes, it was.
That's where the Little Mermaid attraction is.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. The Spirit, and right, short lived, and there's a reason for it, so it would not work today.
Yeah, move on. Yeah.
The Spirit of Pocahontas.
That was there? That was a stage show, I think.
I think that was a stage show. And I don't think it lasted very long either.
No, because I remember the one in Animal Kingdom. We went and saw it once. My kids were like, okay, no.
Yeah.
We can move on.
The Hunchback of Notre Dame. That was a stage show. I remember that being in the back where they built another one that I'll mention here soon, I think. Is it on here? Let's see.
Lights, Motor, Action?
Yeah, why isn't that?
Oh, no, that wasn't there yet.
No, that's not on my extinct attraction list. It should be.
It's extinct.
It is extinct, and it should stay extinct. That was one. It was a great show if you saw it once, but you did not have to see it again because it was the same show. Nothing changed.
Over and over.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
actually, it was a little bit longer in the beginning, and they'd show you the background of how they do things and how they had this cooling unit that would go in there for the people. And I found it interesting. I enjoyed it, but it got old really fast. Same thing with the jet ski thing where they just went jump through the jet ski and they're like, okay, this is kind of dumb. Do we really need this in our show?
Yeah. So, it took up a tremendous amount of space in that park. And I'm sure the cost to do that production over and over was enormous and not worth it.
I think they went through a set of tires a day, if not a set of tires. Some of the cars were like going through a set of tires every show.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah. A money eater.
Yeah.
Let's see.
The backlot tour.
Yeah, backlot tour. Yep.
So actually, I like the original tour.
Yep, me too.
That was 2 hours long.
Yep.
No one's got the attention span for that anymore.
No.
Nope.
I would love that if that came back.
I loved when you drove through the boneyard and you saw everything in the back there. Catastrophe Canyon.
Yeah, where they shot the mod show. Or the mod set.
Golden Girls.
Golden Girls, that's it. Yeah, I'm thinking of the wrong.
So it was Golden Girls and something else. It was another show, but you drove down that entire block.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Yeah, I missed that, but you're right. I don't think it would work because you're right. No one has the attention span anymore. It's sad. Let's see. What else do I have on here? Pixar Pals Countdown to Fun. I don't remember it.
That sounds like a meet and greet.
It does.
That was a meet and greet.
Motor Cars. That sounds like a meet and greet too.
Superstars and Motor Cars was. They literally have a star of the day. So there were some. The star would be there, in front of, the Grauman's Theater. There's handprints in the ground, and they would come by and they would plant their hand grip, and then they would be in the car and they would drive around. Some of the cars were like shaped like, I want to say it was like Mickey and Minnie and stuff like that. I don't remember.
Yeah, that could stay away. I don't think that would work so great today.
Yeah.
Last one in Hollywood Studios, The Great Movie Ride.
My son wants that back so bad.
Yeah, I love that attraction.
As cool as I enjoy what's there now, the original version of that, when you weren't sure which you were going to get, are we going to get the gangster scene or are we going to get the Western scene, and what's going to happen? And then, going into the end, that was my son's favorite part, watching those movies. He had to show it to his girlfriend so she could see what it was he was talking about. She's like, "What are you talking about?" So she showed it to him, or he showed it to her, and she's like, "Oh, this is really cool."
You know, I love Mickey and Minnie's Runaway Railway, but if you gave me the choice of bringing back the Great Movie Ride or keeping Mickey and Minnie's Runaway Railway, I'll choose the Great Movie Ride.
You had to have a good host or hostess.
Yes, yes.
It had to be somebody good.
Your captain can make or break your Jungle Cruise.
Exactly.
Right. Yep.
This goes back to there's another park. It's kind of universal. They had this boat ride where you go through there, and I don't know, we were being attacked by a shark or something. Hey, all I know is the person that was our skipper on that was like holding the microphone. Oh no, there is a shark. Eek! What should we do? Really?
You know, in all the years that I rode the Great Movie Ride, and I can put the Jungle Cruise in there too, because it happened once on each. It was just one time where we had a bad skipper on the Jungle Cruise, and one time we had a bad, I guess, driver on the Great Movie Ride. Just once, and the other times it was always great. And it could have been somebody who was an emergency replacement,
just still learning. They're new on the job.
Maybe
overacting instead of it feeling that it's coming off
natural.
It's like, oh my gosh, you can't overact in that situation. Now, if I was young and I was trying to make it somewhere, I'd probably be the overactor. Now I'd be the Robin Williams laid back, laying the sarcasm down.
But with our bad experiences on each attraction, it was underacting. It was just like, we come to the what was the name of that falls? With
Fletcher Falls, named after Dr.
Named
Albert
after
Falls.
Dr. Very, like, just not good. And on the Great Movie Ride, it was like, oh, there's a gangster. Oh,
yeah,
like somebody who didn't want to be there.
Right.
Working the attraction. But like I said, it was just once, and it could have been an emergency fill-in. It could have been anything with somebody training, not knowing it, just learning their lines. I don't know. Anyway, we're on to. Was there anything I left out that you can remember?
You had enough. Go on.
Okay. Disney's Animal Kingdom, short list. It's not that big here. Attraction's still there, but it was under a different name when it first opened, so I'm going to include it. Countdown to Extinction.
Bring it back.
Yep.
Bring it back.
Yep.
It was quicker. It was a little bit more jarring, which is probably why they slowed it down. So
and
now
the dinosaur used to come into your car.
It just felt like it was closer. It was a little bit scarier. Bring it.
Yeah, I agree. Bring back the original, but change. I love Felicia Rashad. Just change the movie. Just change the movie intro. It's just so dated. You need a new one.
Yeah, I mean, it's been the same since the opening. They only added a couple little things.
Yeah, I know.
It's minor, the changes that they've made to it.
But
they need to update that opening.
Yeah, they do. Tarzan Rocks.
Good show.
I love that show. You know what? It's not as good as Nemo, and it's in the same theater that Nemo's in.
Right.
Although they closed it for Nemo. But I love that show, and I think it would work today if they could fit it in somewhere else and not where Nemo is. I don't want to get rid of Nemo, but I love Tarzan Rocks. Pocahontas and Her Forest Friends. They can stay in the forest.
That's the show we're like, oh, maybe we should go see this with my two kids, who I think were they're either 5 and 3 or 7 and 5 at the time, and they were both like, yeah, we don't need to come back to that ever again.
Yeah,
not necessary.
Yep. The riverboats. Never did it, but I always wanted to.
No. There was nothing you literally got on this boat that was going maybe 5 miles an hour. There was no narrative to it. You just drove around in it, and there was nothing to see. There was no animals on the sides. You just drove around in this thing, because then it became the Disney Disney Hits or something like that, where they played the music from the whatever the Disney radio station was that used to be on. Radio Disney. Oh my God, it just flopped.
Yeah,
the whole thing was a flop.
It did. I agree. There's no reason to bring that back. Another show that was in that same theater where Nemo is now, Journey into the Jungle Book.
You know, that we missed it the first year. It was closed. Something happened. It was gone before we even got a chance to see it. Because by the time Tarzan came, Tarzan was there in 2000. Mm-hmm. And because we watched that in 2000, I won't go into the details. But it was an emotional time. And that was, I remember that's why it sits so well in my heart with it. And, well, it was right before we had our kids. So You'll Be in My Heart, that all was right there. Mm-hmm. My wife was pregnant. We're watching the show, so it's kind of an emotional thing. But so the one before it, though, we never really got a chance to see it. It was here and gone fast with the Jungle Book one. I saw it. I don't remember it.
I was there. It was the first trip was it the first trip with our kids? I'm trying to think. Or was it the second trip with our kids? I think it was the second trip with our kids. 1998 when Animal Kingdom opened up.
Mm-hmm.
We were there. I remember seeing the Jungle Book, but I don't remember the show very well. So if I don't remember the show very well, I wouldn't bring it back. I don't know how well it would do today.
Yeah, and see, that being said, we might have seen it, and I just don't even remember seeing it.
Mickey.
I remember do you remember when they were working on Dinosaur Zoo?
No, I do not.
They worked right there where the boneyard is, mm-hmm. and where all that. Why can't I think of the name of it? Chester and Hester's.
Yeah.
Where all that is there,
mm-hmm.
that's where they were working on Dinosaur Zoo. And they had little boots, and there were all these little air-conditioned boots and working on it.
Wow. Mickey's Jammin' Jungle Parade.
It was fine. It was a parade that just wanted. I liked the music for it. It was it was jamming.
If they brought that back for a short period of time, even I'd be okay with that. I think we'd do well bringing that back. I don't think there's anything wrong bringing it back, but I don't think there's anything wrong with them not bringing it back. That's one of those. If they brought it back, it'd be fine. If they didn't, it's okay.
Right.
Last one. Attraction's still there, but it's a different. It's the Kilimanjaro Safaris, the Poacher Mission.
I know John says he saw it, but it was gone, I think, before he got there.
I don't remember it at all.
When it opened, I'm pretty sure I was working at the Disney store when it opened. So I know I was, because I got in there early. I mean, we were staying at Wilderness Lodge for $125 a night. Okay. That's what kind of deal I was able to get on that place. And at the time, a deluxe resort was like $350 or $375. Mm-hmm. So we got that dirt cheap, and we got on that attraction as a cast member of the Disney store, if I remember how we got it. That's how we saw Big Red. Mm-hmm. And I can't remember if I actually I videotaped most of that ride. I don't know if I got Big Red on video of going to this, and there were complaints before that attraction even opened.
Oh, I can imagine.
So when he was talking about how, it was open for a couple of years with Big Red. No, he saw Little Red in the back. Big Red wasn't there anymore.
I know the first time we went to Animal Kingdom, we did every show and every attraction there was in the park. There wasn't a heck of a lot. It was a one-day mm-hmm. park at best. And I'm saying at best. And we did everything in the day we were there, including Kilimanjaro Safaris. But if you ask me if I remember anything about it other than the water and the fire coming out, no.
So you came around the bend, and Big Red was there in a heap on the side. It wasn't even an animatronic, because it was just a lump. Mm-hmm. And you could tell that they went after her for a tusk. And then all of a sudden you hear that, and there's the Jeep. It's a Land Cruiser, and it's racing by, and then we're chasing after it. And then when you come around the bend, that's when you see the airplane, and in the back of the truck was Little Red. So Little Red was there. We came back in '99, and Little Red was gone, or Big Red was gone. Little Red stuck around for a while. For a while there, once they took out that storyline, it was supposed to be like zebras or something back in that area. I don't even think they adapted well back there. I don't remember what it was. It wasn't zebras. It was something else. Whatever it was didn't adapt well. Now it's just an area where they just kind of talk to you as they're going through and back.
So what I like to see them do now, I'd like to see them take a Disney movie and add elements of that Disney movie into that attraction. Not change the name of it, but if you ask me what movie, maybe Zootopia, maybe something else. I think they've got a lot of choices there. They could even put some things from Moana in there.
So you say Zootopia, but it's totally out of place. Zootopia is a city movie.
That's true. So you're absolutely
right. That's a city movie. Right. That just won't fit.
You're right. I stand corrected. But there are Disney movies out there they could do things with and just add elements of it to it.
I don't think they need to.
I'd like to see them do it.
I don't think they need to, though. I think they more need to do something like that with the Rafiki's Planet Watch area.
Yes, absolutely.
That needs help.
That does.
So we haven't gone back there in years. And I say, come on, let's take the train ride. The kids are like, why? There's nothing back there anymore. It doesn't fit. There's stuff back there, but it just doesn't feel like there's anything.
That area is good for preschoolers, elementary school kids. Once you get into middle school, high school, they don't want to go there. It's not. There's nothing for them.
The petting zoo, and I guess there is still the drawing station.
I think they need to do more at that drawing station. I think that's a good thing to have there, but I think they need to do more to bring different age groups in.
But it's really out of place. That belongs over at Disney Hollywood Studios more than it belongs there, which is where it originally is from.
Yeah, it does. It absolutely does.
But I know we did it because we drew Simba. I think I got pictures.
Yeah. Oh, there were so many animals out on the safari today. Wow. Oof. We've been seeing more and more. And today, I think we wrote it. It was at 10:30 we wrote it this morning. And a lot of animals all over the place. It was really fun to see. There were some animals that I had never seen there before. If you asked me what they were, I wouldn't remember. 10 years from now, I'll remember. Today, I don't remember.
Yeah, that is still a must-do attraction.
Yeah. And for those of you who follow me on Facebook, there was an owl that came flying through the audience at Feathered Friends Bird Show, and I snapped a picture of it just about before it flew over my head. So I put that up on Facebook earlier today. It was pretty cool. Pretty cool. I actually thought I missed the picture, but I did get it. All right, that's going to do it for us. I hope you guys enjoyed this show. I think, Kurt, you were very insightful, and I appreciate it.
It was fun.
Yeah, it was a fun show. We'll be back early next week with our news show, and later in the week with another regular edition of our show. As we move through March, there are things that I'm thinking about, and we may make some changes going into April. I'm not sure exactly how. We may keep it 2 shows, we may combine the 2 shows. I'm not sure, but you'll see some changes going on come April, and I hope they'll be beneficial to you guys out there. Also, if anybody's got any ideas on things they want us to talk about, please let us know. I'd love to hear it because we would be more than happy to discuss what interests you. So please let us know. Once again, like and subscribe to wherever you watch or see us on, so it helps give us more visibility. We would love to have more people enjoy the show like you guys do, or hate the show like you guys do. Either way. So until next time, everybody, be safe. Bye-bye.
Good night, everybody.
Have a magical night.